I talk about addiction often on this channel because I know that many people are struggling with addiction, regardless of how severe the addiction is. Whether it's an addiction to cigarettes, whether it's an addiction to alcohol, whether it's an addiction to television, it doesn't matter. They all, if they're non beneficial addictions, exert a draining influence on our lives. And they rob us of our vitality and they suck us dry like parasites, like ticks, like leeches, folks. So, one of the greatest keys to truly getting healthy and attaining the shield of health, folks, is to transmute all of your addictions into healthy addictions. And you, just like me, can do it. If you believe in yourself, and you put in the time and effort to change your life. And it does take effort and it will require effort to give up something that feels good to you right now. Now, what feels good to you right now, ladies and gentlemen, such as cigarettes, alcohol, cannabis, it may feel good right now, but that's how many of these toxic substances work. They trick the mind. We end up thinking that, I need this to cope with life. Life is stressful. I need this. I need this. I need this. The more you tell yourself that, the more you're going to believe that. And the more you believe that, the more you're going to imprint your subconscious mind with that belief. And then you're really addicted because you've got a belief system in your subconscious basically creating your reality through the law of attraction to just addiction, addiction, addiction. What you create in the form of beliefs, ladies and gentlemen, sculpts what happens on the subconscious levels of our consciousness. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to get into that in this video. I shouldn't have even brought it up. I just want to say, though, you can transmute your addictions into beneficial addictions. For instance, instead of drinking alcohol, I drink Shazandra. Instead of drinking alcohol and destroying my life, destroying my liver, and potentially killing myself with too much booze, there were a handful of occasions where I thought I was on my way out after a night of drinking 9 bottles of wine or 2/5 of vodka in less than 2 hours. There was a handful of occasions like this where I thought I was done for. But nowadays, I uplift my health with herbal tea. I go outside and I ground myself and I get sunlight on my skin. You see, I've taken all of those non-beneficial patterns and I've completely collapsed them and rebuilt myself. I don't want to see you end up like I was, or I don't want to see you end up in a similar situation that I was in where I had to go through a near-death experience to quit drinking. And drinking was my worst addiction. I was addicted to cigarettes. I was addicted to cannabis for a long time, and I abused some drugs in my day. But I'm completely sober now. But alcohol was my vice. It was the most dangerous thing that I've ever played with, and I thank God on a daily basis that I made it through that period of my life without dying, because that was a slippery slope, as my mother calls it. But with alcohol, I had to hit rock bottom to realize that, holy shit, I need to stop doing this. With every other addiction, I've banished that with the application of my own mental fortitude. But with alcohol, I was so close to death, at least I felt I was, that I realized that I actually valued my life more than the bottle, and I just gave it up because I chose life over death. You see, there's certain states of consciousness. You can there's people who are addicted currently that if they were thrown into a situation like I was thrown into, or that I put myself into, where I was going through these incredible near-death experiences, they would probably have no problem quitting. They would have no problem letting go of alcohol. But when you feel like you have your health, when you feel like everything's okay, even though you're destroying yourself, it's easy to take things for granted until it's potentially too late. And I don't want to see you get to that point where it's potentially too late. I also don't want to see you end up in a situation like me where you have to hit rock bottom to see the potential of, getting clean and living. Because many people don't get that second chance. They don't wake up, or they go through some type of experience while they're intoxicated, or, and they just accidentally kill themselves or kill multiple people. It's really, really sad. So the key of health, ladies and gentlemen, is to realize that you need to, like a sculptor, take your current situation and mold it into something better. And you do that through your effort, and you do that through your time. Because effort requires time, and time requires effort, vice versa. The more energy you put into you becoming a healthier person, the more you're going to attract that to you. Doesn't that make sense? So health starts with sobriety, in my opinion. And this is something that many people don't want to hear, because many people want to find every way to Sunday to try to maintain their health while still drinking, while still smoking, while still doing their pot and all this other stuff. It's no. Again, these are just my opinions. If you don't like them, you don't have to watch these videos. But I can guarantee you that I care about you, and I care about your health. And I want to see you thrive. And I can guarantee you that someone who tells you that your addiction is okay and that it's all good and this and that and everything's going to be fine, just do what you're doing, you're okay, that's not someone who truly cares for you. People who care for you will tell you things that make you uncomfortable if it's for your own benefit, if it's for your own good. I used to think that cannabis, smoking pot, was the greatest thing in the world. I used to actually think that I needed it until I realized that I didn't, and I changed my life. People think pot is like this innocent, just happy-go-lucky thing. That shit screwed me up for a long time. And many of the people who think that pot's great are people who have never actually quit smoking it. And because of that, you're still in that haze. But once you let go of cannabis, if you've used it for a long time, there's all sorts of things that happen as your body gets readjusted to not having it. And you feel disoriented, you can feel fatigued, you can have brain fog. Any substance that produces this type of result when you let go of it is not something that should be habitually used, in my opinion. So I apologize if you don't like the fact that I just said that pot is not healthy 9 out of 10 times. I don't think that people should be using cannabis the way that they're using it. It's like become a recreational tool and people think that they need it. But I want to stay on point, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about taking your current situation and molding it into something better, because that is the foundation of alchemy. That is the foundation of you have the ability, is what I'm getting at here, folks, is you have the ability to alter your destiny and become a greater version of yourself. And it's not necessarily that you're a horrible person, that you need to become greater, but there's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement, and seeking improvement is how you constantly grow. In life is all about growth. When you stop growing, what happens? You die. When growth stops, there's stagnation. And when there's stagnation, there's putrefaction and rancidification. You always want to keep moving in life. Challenge your mind. Constantly put yourself into situations where you're learning, where you're growing. Don't just accept things the way that they are just because it seems like it's comfortable at the I can't speak today. At the current moment, if you teach yourself to always strive for more, you'll get more out of life. Is what I'm getting at. The foundation of health, at least from my perspective, is to get sober. Once you're sober, you can now approach health in the proper fashion. Because if you're trying to be a healthy person while you're doing all this stuff that's killing you, then you're snuffing out all of the progress that you're making while you're trying to be healthy. Once you get sober and you stay sober and you find that foundation, when you find that balance, you will feel so much better. And then life becomes a joy. Every single day, every breath you take just fills you full of life, because you're finally where you've wanted to be for so long. And so many people won't realize this until they're completely sober for a prolonged period. You see, most people who are addicted don't actually want to be addicted. Most people who struggle with alcoholism or heroin addiction or cannabis addiction, they don't actually want to be in that situation. They hate that they're hooked. And once you get sober, you'll realize that, wow, this is what I've been looking for the entire time. And that's when that light bulb goes off in your head. And that's when you can truly start siphoning in and generating health, ladies and gentlemen. That's when all the herbal teas and the different forms of supplementation really give you the most benefit, when you have a clean foundation. Otherwise, you're trying to build a house on an unlevel surface, and things just don't work that way. You can try to build the house, you can try to lay the house at an angle, you can try to lay the foundation at an angle, but it's just not going to work. View your health as if it were a house. Would you build your house with garbage wood? Would you build your house on an unlevel surface? No, you wouldn't. So why treat your health as if you can just build it on an unlevel surface? Your health is more important than your house. Your body is your true home. The home that you live in, that your body resides in, is your second home. Your real home is your physical body, ladies and gentlemen. Treat it with respect. Get away from these garbage addictions, because before you know it, it just may be too late. Many people get to this point where they're 40, 50 years old, and now they're having like a midlife crisis, and they're reflecting on the fact that, wow, for 20 years of my life, I've spent 20 years of my goddamn life smoking cigarettes. I've spent 30 years of my life drinking alcohol. That creates guilt, and guilt drives depression. And when you're depressed, you reach for toxic substances to numb that feeling. In my opinion, many of the addictions out here are depression driven. The only way to get rid of that toxic burden that you're bearing, that is addiction, is to let it go and to change your life. Turn the bad into good. If the path that you're on right now in life isn't working for you, that it only makes sense that the complete opposite will probably work 10,000 times better. Peace be with you.